Tiger is no longer alone because Bunny has arrived on the scene.
It's morphin' time!
If you're looking for Tiger and Bunny merchandise from Japan, check out HobbyLink Japan using the link in the description below to help support the channel. Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my review of the SH Figuarts Tiger and Bunny 2 Barnaby Brooks Jr. Style 3. Much like Wild Tiger, this is the new updated Barnaby Brooks Jr. for the new series, and he looks great. So as you can see on the box here, we've got Barnaby Brooks Jr. Style 3. People name, Barnaby Brooks Jr. Company, Apollon Media. Next ability, 100 power. Pretty much the same text as Tiger, so hopefully we do get more Figuarts to go forward with this. There hasn't been any announcements since Tiger came out, but I hope there is. I hope there's more. On the side here, we've got Barnaby Brooks Jr. Style 3. Continuing artwork from the side there. On the back, we've got, of course, all the nice like comic book style graphics, Apollon Media logo, mask off, action pose, placement logo, supervisor, Masakazu Katsura, all kinds of cool stuff there. So pretty neat. It's pretty much the same box as Tiger's, but it's got a Barnaby inside, so let's take a look. All right, so here's Barnaby Brooks Jr. Style 3. Now this is a redesign from Tiger and Bunny the Rising Style 2, just like with Tiger. Let's look at some of the details. First of all, of course, we've got the company logos. On the chest there, we have Bandai, which has been one of his sponsors since the beginning. There's another company on this shoulder. There's X flag on this shoulder. You can kind of see the small Barnaby logo there on the collar, which is really nice. On this arm, we've got Tanita, and then on this arm, we have Battle Spirits, which is one of Bandai's card games. So pretty cool. It is interesting how they have 5 logos on them when the first TV series, they only had 3. On the back here, we can see you've got more clear plastic overlays over techie details, something that has been consistent with the other Barnaby Brooks Jr.'s designs as well as Wild Tiger. But you can see here on his back thrusters, he's got kind of a really cool smoky pink texture on top of those parts. And overall, I mean, the backs are painted really nice, which is kind of the full experience that Figuarts likes to provide. I do like the way that the logos are overlaid on top of something else. It makes them stand out a little bit, but I think it's actually kind of cool as a visual effect overall, especially like, just the smaller paint details such as the power lines throughout. The legs are very similar to the original Barnaby design legs, though his feet are way smaller than all the other Barnaby Brooks Jr. designs. Like, these are really small. So it does give him a little bit trouble standing because of that. And it's just, that's design-wise. It's not so much Figuarts-wise. I will say the head looks really nice. I do like the way the rabbit ears design works its way up, and kind of the overall blue, red, and silver mixture there is honestly pretty nice. He does look really good. I like the, it's kind of a mix between reds and pinks, which gives him a really striking design. Now, in terms of articulation, there's a couple hindrances I wasn't expecting. So first of all, the head is kind of what you expect. It runs into the collar a lot. This is similar to Wild Tiger's, so it does give him a little bit less range of movement, left and right and up and down. The shoulders move out. They ball joint, so they can move 360. They can also rotate here at the elbow. And this is where it's interesting, also because I keep popping stuff off the back. We'll get to those in a minute. This doesn't rotate up here at the shoulder like I thought it would. It actually rotates here at the bicep. But it's so stiff that you can actually kind of, it's hard to see. Maybe we can get it on camera. As you turn it, the plastic there will split in some directions. Like, there's a little line that forms when you're turning the elbow, which is a little strange. Like, I feel like that should be a lot better. It's really tight. And then the elbow only goes about there. So it's quite restricted. I don't know if that's due to design or they just didn't have like a sliding mechanism, because I've tried pulling on it to see if it would slide out a little bit just to get a little bit more movement, but it barely does 90 degrees, which is kind of a bummer. And then for the wrists, they're so crowded by the arm guards that you really can't hardly get anything out of them. Torso-wise, he's got the upper torso ball joint, the lower torso ball joint. Hips, they move out only about that far. It's just still pretty good. Whoop, there it happens again. There's a couple things that happen on this figure. I move some things in certain directions, they'll pop off the ball joint, but they're ball joint at hips. There is a thigh swivel, it just moves out slightly, nothing too major. Knees also not as far as I thought they would go, definitely not as far as the original Barnaby Figuarts. And then feet pivot forward back, they tilt left right, or they just tilt inward, they don't actually tilt left and right. And then the toe joint. And then on the back, these are ball jointed, and as you may have noticed, they pop off really easy. Probably a good thing, to avoid breakage, but also slightly annoying. The things that tend to pop off the most is the shoulder pads. If you're not careful with the shoulder pads, they can pop off, the back pieces, and then yeah, the hips if you push them in the wrong direction without moving or sliding them out of the way correctly. But overall, I mean, he's fairly articulated, but of course, he must also have hands, because without extra hands, his poses are going to be kind of dull. So let's look at those extra hand options. So we have a pair of hands where he's dramatically reaching out. He has a pair of relaxed open hands, and what's nice about all the open hands, they have the black interiors to the gloves that they should. We got a pair of hands to salute to his adoring public. What's nice about these type hands came with the Barnaby Brooks Jr. Darkness for the original Barnaby, so it's nice that it's included in the package here. Though I can't quite get a natural looking pose because of the restriction in the elbows. He also comes with these extended finger hands that don't have the thumbs extended, so they are a little bit different than the ones we previously looked at. They're the thumb extended. These seem like it would be him touching the side of his head, like this area, because he does that for like comms displays and readouts. Except there is no way this is getting to the side of his head because of that elbow being so restricted. And then lastly, just like with Tiger, he's got an unmasked head, which looks pretty good. It's nice that, again, they're included in the box when that was something that had to be like a prize item before. And there wasn't a fully unmasked Barnaby in the original lineup, so this is actually pretty nice to have. And he doesn't have the glasses because he doesn't wear his glasses under his hero helmet, which is pretty cool. And I like how the hair does get over the collar piece there, which is really, really nice. So naturally, to start our comparisons, here he is with Wild Tiger Style 3. Of course, this is our duo of Tiger and Bunny for Tiger and Bunny 2. And I really do think they look good together. I think that Wild Tiger overall is a bit better of a figure because his elbows work better. The elbow restrictions really kind of mess up Barnaby a little bit in the aesthetics, because I'm not exactly sure what pose to put him in. Barnaby is known for action poses to be using a lot of kicks, so it's a good thing his legs do move. But in terms of actually like articulating his arms to do stuff, it's a lot more restrictive, and so it's something I had to kind of work my way through to figure out. But they do look nice together, and it is nice to have an updated version of these two characters. It's also nice getting them with unmasked heads because they match each other and they look good together. I think it's nice to have the two of them side by side. It really makes Barnaby worth it. Where I think Wild Tiger would be more worth it on his own than Barnaby. They are meant to be a pair, and they always are going to look better together. All right, let's compare Style 3 Barnaby to previous Barnabys, including Style 1. Now, this was the first Figuart released for Barnaby Brooks Jr. Looks pretty nice. Still, I think it still has a lot of good positives. And of course, I think the proportions and the styling on 3 are better. I do like it more, just like I like Wild Tiger Style 3. But once again, because I'm just going to keep talking about the elbows, the original Barnaby Brooks Jr. had no trouble tapping the side of his head, doing the salute in a natural pose. He had full elbow range, and that is still a positive that I'll give this guy, in addition to the Tamashii stage that all the old Figuarts came with, over this Style 3. But the Style 3 does have a bit nicer styling and details. But again, they are different versions of the suits, so owning both isn't a bad thing either. Here he is with the Darkness version of Barnaby, which is a repaint of the Style 1 Barnaby suit. But I always like the color scheme on this. It's just such a cool, striking thing with the pink added in with the blacks and whites. And then here he is with the Style 2 from Tiger and Bunny The Rising. Much like with Kotetsu, I do like the Style 3 being more streamlined. Of course, being TV series versus movie, it did have to go more streamlined. However, there is something I did want to point out. The elbows on this guy were also sort of restricted. The Style 2 actually has less elbow range than the Style 3 does by a little bit. But of course, the Style 1 is sort of the king in all this because it actually has like an extra movement. It's like these two are single joint elbows and this one's actually a double joint, even though both of these have two joints in their elbows. It's really strange how we've sort of progressively started to lose articulation in the elbows as we've gone through the different designs. But to give this guy a compliment, his weight distribution is incredible. You can actually balance him on one leg, kind of like he's leaping or ready to kick something. So overall, is Barnaby Brooks Jr. worth it on his own? It depends. If you're a huge fan of Bunny, do it. It's kind of a no-brainer if you're a huge fan of the character. But in terms of, are you just going to buy one Figuart from the new Tiger and Bunny 2 line? Yeah, I can't really recommend this one as much. Having those restricted elbows, some of the other things where the leg panels are clashing in, he's not as good of a standalone package as Tiger. But if you're trying to complete a collection, it's also pretty good for that. I'd say if you are a huge Barnaby fan, if you are someone who's trying to put together an entire Tiger and Bunny collection, he's definitely worth it for that. But on his own, not so much. This guy's definitely more of a team player sort of figure. I don't regret it, but it is a little underwhelming compared to Tiger, and the, general only having hands and extra head for accessories means there's nothing else to really distract me from, yeah, his elbows don't work as well as they should. But in general, if you're looking for it, I would say probably try to get him and Tiger and not just him, if that makes any sense. So in general, Barnaby Brooks Jr. Style 3 is a good team player. He does look good with the rest of the lineup of the previous figures. Now, there hasn't been any news since Wild Tiger's review of any future Figuarts. Mr. Black, He Is Thomas, Magical Cat, still waiting Bandai. The Double Chasers next. There is prop replica versions of Tiger and Bunny's transformation items, but that's about it for the moment. Hopefully with the show returning on Netflix October 7th, that means Bandai will have some more announcements, because I would really love to see if we're getting the other 3 new heroes, or if there's like a version 2 Blue Rose coming. I'm not sure exactly if they will do any more than just the new heroes, but I hope at the very least we do get the new heroes, because I like these 2 overall. I would like to kind of expand and finish the main hero collection. And yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. But in general, if you're getting Barnaby to be part of a collection, I think he's good. If you're getting him on his own, maybe not as much. The older Barnabys might be a better bet for that. And in general, like I had mentioned with Tiger, you can use the old Double Chaser with this Barnaby, but there's no gripping hands with this Barnaby, so you're going to have to find different gripping hands to use the bike with it. But you can use the old bike. I'm probably not getting the new bike because it's not that different. And yeah, it's expensive and it's barely different than the one I have. So yeah, I don't know when the next review will be. It'll probably be when the prop replica versions of the transformation devices come out, because I am planning to get those. But in general, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and also leave a comment down below telling me which is your favorite Tiger and Bunny hero. Also be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for future reviews on the channel. Plenty of stuff in the works and plenty of things coming up, especially in October. Also be sure to check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for anime news and more, and my awesome graphic designer on Twitter at darkclaw643. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.